So good morning everyone. Welcome to the class on derivatives. Okay, so we are doing a subject called risk management and derivative. For the risk management part, we have discussed the basics on risk analysis on capital budgeting, and through that, we try to analyze the risk management perspective. Now, talking about derivatives, when we talk about derivatives, derivatives are basically such forms of financial instruments where we are talking about a form of transaction which will do in the future based upon the present determined condition. So in case of derivatives, we have two individuals participating. One person is called as long position holder, the person who want to buy the underlying asset in the future, and the other person is called as short position holder, the person who want to sell the underlying asset in the future. So these two people come and they decide the terms of the contract. They decide the what would be the price at which they will do transaction in the future, which we called as the exercise price or settlement price. They decide the value of the contract, okay, value, volume of the contract, value of the contract, and then on that pre-decided term, they will follow the contract in the future. So I hope we already from last two classes I'm just talking about the same thing. So I hope you have understood this thing. Now, talking about forward contract contains the problem of default risk. It contains a problem of default risk, means there is a possibility in the case of forward contract that one person may run away from the contract. He or she does not follow the contract because of that reason, a forward contract is more common in OTC market. So when we look into the forward contract, how the forward contract is basically is being transacted. So as I mentioned that in India, normal individuals are not allowed to participate in forward contract. Banks involved in forward contract transaction. Okay, corporates are not allowed to participate much in the forward contract transaction. So they are allowed to participate only for hedging purpose. So imagine if you are a software company, so you will always have a concern that your foreign currency, what you wanna receive, that should not depreciate. So for that reason, if you go to the derivative market and you take position, then that way you that is allowed. For hedging purpose, corporates are allowed to participate in the forward contract. Okay. Future contract options, they are basically exchange traded instrument. There you can take position anytime. There's no problem with that. So when we talk about futures and options, they are basically exchange based derivative instrument like forward contract, swap, all these are basically OTC based instruments. So where the normal corporates and individuals are not allowed to participate to transact on them. Okay. So talking about banks, for the banks, it is important for them to transact in currency, because for the bank, the currency is like inventory. So when we talk about a bank, for the bank, currency is like inventory. So they used to transact a lot in the forward contract, because forward contract are basically customized form of derivative instrument. Okay, so future contract are basically such forms of derivative instrument which are basically exchange bound. So future contract, in the case of future contract, the terms of the contract, everything is being decided by the exchange, and both the individuals, both the parties have to simply follow the terms based upon the exchange predetermined condition. So there they cannot come up with their own perspective. Okay, so but the same doesn't happen probably in the case of future contract, because in the case of future contract is more or less, it's a customized form of instrument. Okay, so why future contract came in power? Because of default risk. There were lot of possibilities of default which were happening in the past. So to avoid that possibility of default, group of farmers and traders, they came together and they led the foundation of exchange. So the first exchange which came in power was CBOT, Chicago Board of Trade, followed by Chicago Mercantile Exchange, then Chicago Board of Option Exchange, then Leafway, London International Financial Future Exchange, MATF, Bombay Cotton Trade Association. So many exchanges came in power. They were basically all were into commodity derivative segment. Okay, after 1970s, when the Gulf War started, then the idea of derivative instrument was implemented in the financial market. Then the idea of derivative instrument, which were there earlier till commodity market, was implemented on the forex market, and thereby a better understanding was developed. Okay, so I hope you people have understood this much. Anyone, any doubt? So this was the future contract. In the case of future contract, exchange take the risk of counterparty. Exchange take the risk of default risk. So exchange makes sure that the default does not happen in the case of future contract. So how exchange makes sure that the default does not happen in the case of future contract is that whenever the two parties who are long position holder and who are short position holder, whenever they come and they take a position in the future market, then both the parties have to deposit an amount with the exchange. That amount what both the parties deposit with the exchange, that amount is called initial margin. So long position holder, short position holder, both have to deposit an amount with the exchange, which we call as initial margin. This initial margin with the which the long position holder and short position holder has deposited with the exchange does not keep this money idle with themselves. What instead of that, what exchange do? Exchange are every day follow the debiting and crediting of the money of this person account, long position holder person account and short position holder account. Every day they do debiting and crediting of their money. Okay, how they do that? That settlement is called mark to market settlement. Where in the case of mark to market settlement, exchange every day believe like suppose today is the settlement date and yesterday was the opening date. Okay, so on that basis, what the exchange do? Exchange follow every day mark to market settlement. Okay, so every day by following this mark to market settlement, every day the long and short position holder in the account, they can check in their initial margin amount account, they can check how much money is there in the account, and there's a threshold margin what the exchange is always maintained. And in case if your initial margin account, if it touches that maintenance margin account, then you need to refill your account back from maintenance margin to the initial margin. So this process is being done on day-to-day basis by the exchange, which is called mark-to-market settlement, and thereby exchange makes sure that the default does not happen in the case of future derivative market. So I hope you understood what is future derivatives, what is forward derivatives. Okay. So the difference between future and the forward used to come. The difference between future and the forward always used to come. Yeah. So 1 minute. So you can see this, right? The difference between forward contract and future contract is important for your exam perspective. You may get a question based upon the difference between forward contract and future contract. So you can see that forward contract are traded on a personal basis or on a telephone or otherwise. Future contract are traded on competitive arena, means over the exchange. Size of the contract, forward contract are individually tailored and have no standardized size. So forward contract, it all depends upon the two person on what terms the two person agree, and on that basis they can determine the contract size. But in the case of future contract are standardized in the term of quantity or the amount as the case may be. So this part is clear. Then organized exchange. So forward contract are traded in over the counter market. So when we talk about forward contract are traded in over the counter market. Means forward contract is OTC based instruments where the two parties they mutually decide the terms of the contract on this pre-decided term. these two individuals follow the transaction. So that is forward contract. When we talk of future contract are traded on the organized exchange with the designated physical location. So when we talk of future contract is not OTC based instrument. It is basically it is exchange based instrument where the terms of the contract is decided by the exchange and the both the parties have to follow the terms what is being decided by the exchange, and on that basis the transaction used to happen over the exchange. Okay, the settlement forward contract settlement take place on the date agreed upon between the two parties. I hope you understanding. The two parties can mutually decide the terms of the contract. They can decide the date, they can decide the venue, they can decide everything. Is customized tailored product. But in the case of future contract are made daily by exchange clearing house. So normally when we talk about financial derivative market in our country, so financial derivative instruments in our country, they get settled on last Thursday of every month. When we talk of commodity derivative market, they settled on the last business day of every month, 20th of every month or last business day. Currency derivative, they settled on the last business day of every month. So everything have it their own settlement date. Every month the settlement used to happen. In the case of future contract, in the case of financial derivative market, we have 1 month contract, we have 2 month contract, we have 3 month contract. In the case of commodity derivative market, we have 1 month contract, 2 month contract, and 3 month contract. In the case of currency derivative market, we have 1 month contract, 2 month contract, 3 month contract, 4 month contract, till 12 month contract. Okay, so like that, everything is decided. One contract size is equal to how much, that is also decided. So if we want to really want to transact on that currency future or commodity future, everything the terms are pre-decided. On that pre-decided terms only we can do the transaction. Delivery date, when we talk about delivery date, so in the case of forward contract may be delivered on the dates agreed upon and in the term of actual delivery. Okay, so while the future contract delivery dates are fixed on cyclical basis, and it is hardly take place. However, it does not mean that there is no actual delivery. So delivery date, you need to understand, guys. In the case of transaction, what happens in our country, only in the case of commodity derivative market, we can have physical delivery or we can have cash settlement. Normally in financial derivative or in currency derivative, we have cash settlement only. In cash settlement also, in currency derivative, we have cash settlement where the cash settlement happens in rupee. Okay, no other currency. Okay, so we have partial capital account convertibility. I hope you have studied in international finance something called balance of payment. In balance of payment, you studied balance of current account, balance of capital account, official reserve account. So country like India, we have partial capital account convertibility. So if we want to trade in currency derivative segment over different currencies, so there's always cash settlement. There's no physical delivery of the currencies. And that cash settlement also, when it happens, it always happens only in rupees. Okay, financial derivatives, again, it's a cash settlement. So that part you need to understand. For commodity derivative, we can have both physical settlement or cash settlement. Clear, everyone? So the transaction cost of forward contract is based on bid ask spread. So you can understand the cost of forward contract is based on bid ask spread. So bid, what is asked. So basically, bid is the quote what we quote whenever we want to buy. So an ask is the quote which we quote when we are trying to sell. So based upon demand supply mechanism. So whenever the people compete to buy an underlying asset in the market, So the price what they try to quote to buy an underlying asset, that is called bid quote, and the price what they quote to sell the underlying asset in the future is called ask quote. So basically, uh, here it means that whenever we talk about forward contract, the transaction what we if you do in the forward contract, the pricing of that, the exercise price or the settlement price, what we decide on the case of forward contract, which will undergo in the future, that ultimately depends upon demand and supply between the two individuals. Whatever the value the two individuals agreed, they will go with the transaction. I hope you understood this. Similarly, but in the case of future contract, when we talk about future contract, in the case of future contract entails brokerage fee for buy and sell order. So you know that in the case of future contract, if you try to take position in the case of future contract, you try to take position in the future contract, then you will get a series of quotes. Either it's a future or options along with the open interest and other values, and then you can look into that. You can figure it out at what value you can do transaction. So if the exercise price you cannot decide by yourself. The series of exercise prices you can choose depending upon your perception about the performance of underlying asset in the market, and then you can decide that quote, and then on that pre-decided quote you can ultimately take position in the future and option segment, and then thereby the transaction can be followed in the future. Then next thing is marking to market, means mark to market settlement. I told you that in the future contract, whenever the future contract is being done, both the long and short position holder at the beginning of the contract only, they pays an amount to the exchange. That amount we called as initial margin amount, and this initial margin amount with which both long and short position holder pays to the exchange. Exchange does not keep this money idle with themselves. Instead of that, exchange follow mark to market settlement. They do debiting and crediting of this money from one person account to the other person account. Okay. The purpose of doing this debiting and crediting of money from one person account to another person account is to make sure that the value what as a collateral, the value what we have given in the market, that value correspond with the market movement. So it's not like both the parties has given the initial margin at the beginning of the contract, and then exchange can wait, keeping that as a collateral. Exchange can wait till the maturity of the contract. Okay, so because we never know what can happen to the price of the underlying asset, so it is very important. It is very important to keep in track of the movement of the value of underlying asset on daily basis. And that way, when we talk about future contracts are subject to mark to market, in which the loss of profit is debited or credited in the margin account on daily basis due to change in the price. Then when we look into the margins, so initial margin, as I mentioned, that initial margin concept is not there in the case of forward contract. That's why the possibility of default risk happened in the case of forward contract. So forward contract, as you know, it is a customized agreement which is tailored between the two individuals depending upon their mutual convenience. So the in the case of forward contract, there's always a possibility of default risk. To minimize this possibility of default risk, what we whenever whenever we whenever we talk about a forward contract, so there's always a possibility of default risk. That's why in the case of future contract, when the future contract came in power, when the two parties, long and short, they came together, they mutually decided the terms of the contract. So it was pre-decided that if exchange makes sure that the default does not happen, if exchange is introducing the logic of derivative over the exchange and making sure the default do not happen. So how the exchange make sure the default does not happen? For that reason, what exchange do? Exchange follow this concept of determination of initial margin. Initial margin is basically determined based upon the war. So when we talk about initial margin, the initial margin is the value which both long and short position holder has to pay to the exchange at the beginning of the contract. So at the beginning of the contract, only both the long and short position holder has to pay an amount to the exchange. That amount what the long and short position holder can pay to the exchange at the beginning of the contract, that money is called as initial margin amount. This initial margin is basically calculated on the basis of war. So war, they actually calculate the war. War stand for value at risk. They basically calculate the war. War stand for value at risk. They basically calculate the war of the underlying asset. War, when we talk about war, what is the war? Is the is the is the mathematical value which basically talks about the maximum risk on your portfolio. So what is the nowadays to measure the standard measure the risk on a portfolio? We don't look into standard deviation or variance because they are based on historical data. So to measure the risk, the maximum loss what your portfolio can get. So for that we look into the war value at risk. We look into war value at risk. So when you talk about value at risk, what is value at risk? It basically tells you that what is the maximum loss what you can get on your portfolio. What is the maximum loss what you can get on your portfolio at a given time interval, okay, at certain confidence interval. Because we calculate whole calculation on because this calculation what we are doing whole calculation of war uh, based on the normal distribution curve. We assume the normal distribution curve, and under the normal distribution curve, we are calculating the probability of calculating the maximum loss what we can get on our portfolio. So there, we cannot be 100% sure about that. If you're 100% sure means then there's no probability. So we calculate this at certain confidence interval. It can be 95% confidence interval, or it can be a 99% confidence interval. 95% confidence interval means out of 100 cases, in 95 cases this is going to happen. 99% confidence interval means out of 100 cases, in 99 cases this is going to happen. So that way what we do, we calculate the maximum loss what we can get on a portfolio. Okay, and for a certain confidence interval for certain time period, means the time period can be 1, it can be 5, like that. So war is calculated by different method, like they can be variance covariance method or Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, the different methods are there to calculate the war. So basically what exchange do to calculate the war, exchange to calculate the war, what basically exchange do whenever they have to calculate the what basically the exchange do exchange use a risk assessment model which is called prism. Okay, so this prism work on calculating different scenarios. It calculates 16 scenarios, and under each scenario it keep price constant, volatility increase by 1/3, price constant, volatility increase by 2/3, price constant, volatility decrease by 1/3, price constant, volatility decrease by 2/3, then volatility constant, price increase by 1/3. Like that, it creates 16 scenarios, and each scenario is assigned certain probability based upon the present economic condition. And on that basis, the war is basically calculated. The war is basically the maximum loss what you can get on your portfolio, and based upon the data of war, the initial margin is determined. That initial margin which the both the long and short position holder has to deposit to the exchange at the beginning of the contract. Okay, so that is the concept of initial margin. This act like a collateral in case of default. So or and at the same time when the exchange follow mark to market settlement, then all other possibilities can also be avoided, because every day the debiting and crediting of the money from one person account with the other person account is being done. So thereby the every day the value of the contract is being determined. And so that this initial margin amount, the which long and short position holder they pays to the exchange at the beginning of the contract, exchange does not keep this money idle with themselves. They every day they do debiting or crediting of the money from one person account to the other person account, and thereby it making sure that any of the person account, if it touches maintenance margin. What is maintenance margin? It is somewhere around 60 to 70% of the initial margin. So if any by chance, by any possibility, if your account touches the maintenance margin, then the particular trader or long position, short position holder, they get a margin call from the broker stating that you need to refill your account back to the initial margin. If you do not refill, then probably will seize the contract. In that moment, only the contract will get over, and the other person will get the, 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 the remaining amount, and you lose whatever you had in your account. So that will actually make sure that the default does not happen in the future transactions. Credit risk. In the case of forward contract, credit risk is borne by each party, and therefore each party has to bother for their credit worthiness. Okay, so for the credit risk or default risk, you can understand, because when we talk about a derivative instrument, in the case of derivative instrument, we are talking about a transaction which will do in the future based upon the present determined condition. So what is the possibility or what is the scenario that we actually go and follow the transaction in the future? Because at the beginning we have paid some amount as a token, and we are committed that we'll do the transaction in the future. So the risk where one person can default over the obligation, that is called credit risk. So the credit risk is very high in the case of forward contract. In the case of future contract, the transaction is a two-way transaction, and the party need not need to worry the risk of credit risk, because in the case of future contract, I told you exchange follows the concept of novation. For buyer, exchange act like a seller. So seller, exchange act like a buyer. So buyer need not need to worry who's a seller. Seller need not need to worry who's the buyer. Exchange plays the counterparty in the case of future contract. So there's as such no trade risk in the case of future market, because again I told you how there's no trade risk, because at the beginning of the contract only both the long and short position holder accounts have to pay initial margin to that exchange, and exchange every day do debiting and crediting of their margin account money, and thereby exchange make sure that the default does not happen. So when they follow mark to market settlement, possibility of default risk can be minimized. Clear everyone? Anyone any doubt? Anyone any doubt? So guys, like for example, I give you an example in the past also. For example, like suppose there's a farmer and there's a trader. For example, there's a farmer and a trader, where the trader acting like a long position holder, the trader acting like a long position holder, and the farmer acting like a short position holder. Farmer acting like a short position holder. Farmer acting like a short position holder, where farmer told to the trader that he'll give him 10 kg of potato, and, and the trader told to the farmer that he'll buy this 10 kg of potato is suppose 11 rupees per kg. So 11 rupees per kg is the exercise price or the settlement price of the underlying asset. On this pre-decided exercise price of 11 rupees, both farmer and trader they will do the transaction in the future. Okay, so that is what they've decided. After 2 months, they will do this transaction. So guys, so the payoff model in the case of forward contract or in the case of future contract, I hope you're understanding. This example I can put even for forward contract. This example I can even put for future contract. The only difference between forward and future, you know that the forward contract is the OTC based instrument, while the future contract is the exchange based instrument. So the logic remains the same. Either we talk about forward contract, either we talk about either in the case of forward contract, either in the case of forward contract, or in the case of future contract, or in the case of future contract, either I talk about forward contract or either I talk about future contract. Both long and short position holder, both long and short position holder, both long and short position holder, both long and short position holder have the have the possibility of getting the possibility possibility of getting unlimited profit or unlimited loss. So please understand, either you take contract or you take future contract, either you are long position holder or either you are short position holder, you have the possibility of getting unlimited profit. You have the possibility of getting unlimited profit or unlimited loss. You have the possibility of getting unlimited profit or unlimited loss. I hope you're understanding, because this payoff model, this is called payoff model. So we decided between farmer and trader, we decided that we'll do the transaction at 11 rupees per kg. The price can be 11, it can be 12, it can be 13, 16 or 17. The price of underlying asset, it can be 10, it can be 9, it can be 8, it can be 7. Okay, so this anything can be the price of underlying asset. So guys, please understand, this is called payoff model. This is the payoff diagram for the long position holder. This is the payoff diagram of a long position holder. So for a long position holder, this is your payoff diagram. So this is the payoff diagram for the long position holder. So because either you are long position holder or you are short position holder, your possibility of getting profit or loss is unlimited. Okay, so in as a long position holder, I'll get profit if the underlying asset price in the future, if it become more than 11 rupees per kg, because 11 rupees per kg was the exercise price. Okay, so 11 rupees per kg was the exercise price, and understand that, assume that above this line is your profit, above this line is your profit, and below this line is your loss. Okay, below this line is your loss. So it depends, if why I have taken long position in the underlying asset at 11 rupees per kg. So 11 rupees per kg, suppose I have taken long position, so I've taken long position at 11 rupees per kg. So I can be hedger, I can be speculator. So the reason why I have decided 11 rupees per kg, I assume that 11 rupees per kg is my threshold value. If it become more than 11 rupees per kg, I'll get profit. If I'm a speculator or if I'm a hedger, then I would be very happy, because I had a concern that that value can go beyond 11 rupees per kg. So I fix it 11 rupees per kg. So thereby I just need to pay 11 rupees per kg to get 1 kg of the contract. So it depends, you are a hedger or you are speculator. So, but even then, if in both the case, either you take future contract or forward contract, if the value of the underlying asset go below beyond 11 rupees per kg, more it go beyond 11 rupees per kg, more happy you would be. Either you are hedger or you are speculator. But if the price of underlying asset go below 10 to 11 rupees per kg, then you end up in getting a loss if you're a speculator, because you will end up in going cash settlement. Or if you're a hedger, then you would end up in paying 11 rupees per kg for the underlying asset, which is right now trading at 7 rupees or 6 rupees or 5 rupees or 9 rupees. So because you had the concern that the price of underlying asset would increase in the future, but instead of being increased is actually decrease in the future. So maybe in spot market you get advantage, but in the derivative market you get a disadvantage. So if you are a hedger, you always take a covered position. If you are a hedger, you would always take a covered position. You take position in both spot market and derivative market. So in the spot market, you get advantage, but in the derivative market, you get disadvantage. So this would be the payoff diagram. If the payoff diagram for long position holder is always, or for the short position holder, the payoff diagram is always linear payoff diagram. The payoff diagram is always linear payoff diagram when you draw the payoff diagram of a long position holder. Similarly, if I draw the payoff diagram of a short position holder, similarly, if I draw the payoff diagram of a short position holder, similarly, if I draw the payoff diagram of a short position holder, if I draw the payoff diagram of a short position holder, this is the payoff diagram of a short position holder. The short position holder payoff diagram, if I draw, it is again, it's a linear payoff only. It's again, it is linear payoff only. So again, for the short position holder also, there's a possibility of getting unlimited profit. There's a possibility of getting unlimited profit and unlimited loss. So either you take long position in future contract or forward contract, either you take short position in future contract or in forward contract, you get always linear payoff diagram. You always have the possibility of getting unlimited profit or unlimited loss, because in the case of future or forward contract, we have obliged to follow the contract in the future. So either it is a future contract or either it's a forward contract, we have obliged, we have committed that will in the future will follow the contract no matter what will happen to the price of underlying asset. So you always get a linear payoff diagram only. So in the case of short position holder, if the price go below 11 rupees per kg, more it go below 11 rupees per kg, more profit you will book. Similarly, if it price go beyond 11 rupees per kg, so then it will be loss for you, because you took short position assuming that the price would be below 10 rupees, would be below 11 rupees per kg. So the profit of one person is a loss of other person. Loss of one person is a profit of the other person. So this is the payoff diagram. Either you talk about long position holder or short position holder, you have the possibility of getting unlimited profit or unlimited loss. Either it's a future contract or either it's a forward contract. The only difference, the future contract trade over the exchange, forward contract does not trade over the exchange. Otherwise, differences already I explained you, but mathematical logic or the foundation will remain the same only. So I hope this much is clear with all of you. Anyone, any doubt, any question? Anyone, any doubt, any question? Clear, everyone? Anyone, any doubt? So this much from the today. We'll continue discussion. So I hope you have understood what all I have done so far in this class. So this much from the today class. We'll continue discussion in next class. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all in next class. Take care. Bye.